Hello, we're Sandalwood.
And Sage. We're AI-generated characters who are working with our creator Gareth to generate short, serious, punchy debates.
Debates that don't just help you figure out what you think, but why you think it.
So, what are we arguing about this week?
With an eye on the European Athletics Championships in August 2026 in Birmingham, in this episode, Sage and I are debating who are the greatest 800 metres athletes of all time. Let's be honest, there's no undisputed and outright 800 metre GOAT across all the different eras. Dietary science, training methods, the surfaces athletes perform on, and the equipment with which they do it all go through periodic revolutions. Also, it's inevitable that the achievements of one generation sets the benchmark for the next to reach beyond.
We've agreed to start in 1960, as we can't sensibly make comparisons with earlier periods. As always, there are two sides to every argument, and we're attempting to work out what we actually think, and why, through this debate. Let's find out. Who do we think are the 800 metres GOATs?
It makes most sense to think about the great athletes of the past in distinct eras. Naturally, if the GOAT was running in 1964, he or she would not be racing faster than a great runner from 2025. Looked at from the other end of the telescope, if we base our judgment on raw best times, we will have a huge recency bias. I propose to look for the dominant athletes from each era, then compare that shortlist.
There are few things simpler than running a foot race, but evaluating thousands of events over many decades, how are we to decide who is the greatest 800-metre runner of all time? Is it the one who ran the fastest once, or the one who was at the top for longest? Is it the one who won the most great prizes, or the one who could beat the best in a head-to-head race? I'm looking for those whose performances were, or are, far outside the norm, even among their greatest rivals. We're talking about the GOAT, after all.
Let me start with the men, Sage, era by era. Peter Snell of New Zealand won the Olympic 800 metres and 1,500 metres double in both 1960 and 1964. The only man ever to achieve this, and ran the first sub 1 minute 45 on grass. That record stood for 11 years. Sebastian Coe broke 1:42 in June 1981, a record that stood for 16 years. But Coe's GOAT case is undermined by his failure to win Olympic gold, and the fact that Joachim Cruz beat him in both their head-to-heads. Wilson Kipketer broke Coe's record in the summer of 1997, setting a time that stood for 13 years, during the only streak of 3 consecutive World Championship titles the event has seen. Like Coe, he never won Olympic gold, but he was on the podium both times. David Rudisha broke Kipketer's record twice in 2010, then became the first man under 1:42 winning Olympic gold in London 2012. He won every major final between 2011 and 2016. 2 World Championships, 2 Olympics. Only Rudisha and Snell have successfully defended the Olympic title. Now the women. The 800 metres was reintroduced at the 1960 Olympics, having previously been deemed too physically demanding, for women apparently. Jarmila Kratochvílová won the inaugural World Championships in 1983, in a time not equalled at Worlds until 2025, and she holds the world record to this day. Without the doping question marks hanging over Soviet bloc athletics, she would be the clear frontrunner. A different kind of greatness belongs to Maria Mutola of Mozambique. 21 major medals over 20 years. Olympic gold in Sydney. 3 outdoor world championships between 1993 and 2003. 7 indoor titles, and a 42-race winning streak. There has simply been no middle-distance runner like her. Caster Semenya won 2 Olympic titles, was world champion in 2009, 2011 and 2017, and strung together 31 consecutive wins. She showed extraordinary courage in the face of sustained and painful controversy over her gender. There is, however, the problem that Semenya would almost certainly not be able to compete as a woman at the next Olympics.
So, Sandalwood, what's your verdict?
Among the men, Rudisha lost 6 consecutive races to Nigel Amos between his 2 Olympic titles. I can't give GOAT to someone consistently second to one rival. Kipketer, world records, 3 straight world titles, 36 consecutive wins in 1996 to 97, is my men's GOAT. Missing Olympic gold is a blemish, not a disqualifier. Among the women, Semenya is formidable, but Maria Mutola's 20 years of sustained excellence, Olympic gold, 3 world championships, 42 straight wins, is simply unmatched. Maria Mutola is my women's GOAT.
Well, I must say, Sandalwood, my approach is simpler. Who ran fastest and who won most? The men's world record lineage is straightforward. Peter Snell set a record in 1962 that stood for 11 years. Sebastian Coe held it for 16. Wilson Kipketer for 13. David Rudisha has held it since 2012. These are the fastest men in history. Among the women, Jarmila Kratochvílová's 1983 record, 1 minute 53.28, remains on the books, disturbing question marks and all. Whether it was clean is for you to decide. Lilian Odera came within half a second of it at the 2025 World Championships. On trophies, Rudisha won all 4 major championships he entered. 2 Olympics, 2 Worlds. Kipketer won 3 consecutive world titles, the only man ever to do so. Defending a major 800-meter title is extraordinarily rare among men. Only Kipketer, Billy Concella, Worlds in 1987 and 1991, Rudisha and Snell have managed it. Among the women, Semenya is the only successful Olympic title defender. Anna Fidelia Quirot and Maria Mutola are the only women to successfully defend a world championship. Those are my shortlists. Among the women, Semenya, Mutola, Kratochvílová, Semenya's 5 from 5 at Olympics and Worlds, 5 of the 20 fastest times ever, and her longevity make her my GOAT, whatever the regulatory complications. Her right to run as a woman was challenged, and she was vindicated. Among the men, Rudisha gets my vote, not merely for winning every major final he entered, but for the 2012 Olympic final in London, the greatest 800-meter race ever run. He broke the world record from the front, became the first man under 141, and every single finisher set a personal best or national record. That is the stuff of myth. One final thought. Emmanuel Wanyonyi, aged just 21, is the first man ever to hold Olympic and world titles simultaneously, breaking 142 in both. Unprecedented. And Keely Hodgkinson, Odera, Georgia Bell, and Athing Mu have all run among the 20 fastest women times ever, 3 of them in 2025. A new GOAT, among both male and female ranks, may be forming right in front of us.
Picking an outright GOAT in the 800 metres is difficult, given the arbitrary nature of comparing across eras. I prefer to view the men in distinct periods. Snell in the 60s, Kipketer ruling the 90s like no other.
Kipketer. His efficiency in Olympic finals was 0%. If greatness means running fastest and winning biggest, the conversation centres on David Rudisha. The only man under 141, 3 fastest times ever, every major final won between 2011 and 2016. The London 2012 final bordered on the mythical.
Don't forget Nigel Amos, nobody's GOAT, beat Rudisha in 6 consecutive head-to-heads. How could you pick Rashida ahead of Amos?
I'll tell you why. Because Rudisha won 2 Olympic golds, whereas neither Amos nor Kipketer won 1.
Kipketer shouldn't be discounted for silver and bronze when his other achievements are so vast. 3 consecutive world titles, a 35-race unbeaten streak, 3 world records in the summer of '97. That sustained excellence makes him my male GOAT.
Same tension exists among the women. Who do you favour?
Maria Mutola. Exceptional longevity. 6 Olympics, 21 major medals, world ranked for 20 consecutive years, a 42-race winning streak. No other middle distance runner comes close.
Her win rate in major finals was only 33%. I'll take Caster Semenya. 5 from 5, a 100% efficiency rate, 5 of the 20 fastest times ever, and she successfully defended her Olympic crown. Only she, Rudisha and Snell have managed that.
But we can't ignore the ghost in the machine. Kratukvilova's world record, still standing. In fact, the longest-standing individual record in track history. If the goal is simply to run fastest, she'd have to be GOAT.
Except that 4 decades of longevity is precisely what casts a shadow over it. The nagging question of pharmaceutical assistance won't go away. It would be a trickier problem if Semenya and Mutola's records weren't themselves so exceptional.
You force me to reconsider. I still cherish longevity, but there's a specific genius in absolute perfection, and Semenya's wasn't brief.
And I'll concede that remaining world-ranked for 20 consecutive years requires a physiological resilience that arguably exceeds any single Olympic cycle. Perhaps there are 2 categories of GOAT: the ruler of an era and the performance outlier.
I like that. As performance outliers, Rudisha and Semenya are beyond debate. As rulers of an era, Mutola's 42 consecutive wins and Kipketer's 3 world titles, plus 2 of the 10 fastest times ever run, the only 20th century athlete on that list, deserve far more respect than a glance at their Olympic records suggests.
And we may not need to look to the past much longer. Emmanuel Wanyonyi, at 21, is the first man to hold Olympic and world titles simultaneously, breaking 142 in both. He satisfies peak and may go on to prove longevity, winning the big ones against the fastest fields ever assembled.
And on the women's side, Odira's championship record of 154.62 suggests we may be about to leave Kratukvilova's shadow behind. A new golden era may be upon us.
So, Rudisha and Semenya are the perfect champions. Mutola and Kipketer the masters of time. But Wanyonyi might just rule them all.
History belongs to the fastest, and the future is being run very, very fast.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps our channel out.
For more content like this every week, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.